From wild rockstar chaos to defying age with unstoppable energy. These are famous rockstar celebrities then versus now. These rock stars have defied time, shattered expectations, and proven that age is just a number. And first up is the ageless Mick Jagger. Before he was strutting across the stage as an 80-year-old icon, Mick Jagger was captivating audiences in the 1960s with hits like Satisfaction and Paint It Black. His youthful energy and unmistakable swagger made him a legend then, and it's incredible to see that same fire still burning today. Let's take a step back and remember the younger Jagger. Back in the day, he mesmerized crowds with his electrifying performances, turning the Rolling Stones into one of the biggest bands in history. His voice, his moves, his stage presence, it all set the standard for rock and roll. Now, fast forward to today. At 80 years old, Jagger is still strutting across the stage like it's the 1960s, proving that rock and roll really does keep you young. He's still electrifying audiences with that same energy, showing that age is just a number. He's got that swagger, that unmistakable voice, and those moves. And even though the years have passed, he's still got the same passion for performing that made him a legend. From selling out stadiums to staying relevant in the music industry, Jagger's showing no signs of slowing down. Talk about legendary. But wait till you hear about this next music icon, Paul McCartney. Before becoming one of the greatest songwriters of all time, McCartney was already making waves in the 1960s with the Beatles. Hits like Hey Jude and Let It Be turned him into a global phenomenon. Let's take a moment to appreciate his younger years. McCartney, with his boyish charm and incredible musical talent, helped define a generation. His ability to craft timeless melodies made the Beatles one of the most influential bands ever. Now, in his 80s, he's still going strong. From belting out Hey Jude in the 60s to still packing stadiums today, this guy hasn't missed a beat. He's kept fit, kept performing, and kept connecting with fans, young and old. You gotta admire that kind of staying power. McCartney's not just resting on his laurels either. He's still writing, still recording, still pushing the boundaries of what it means to be a musician. His music has crossed generations, and he's proven that true artistry never ages. But when you think resilience, you gotta think of Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness himself. Before he became known as the resilient rock icon we see today, Ozzy was fronting Black Sabbath, creating some of the most iconic heavy metal tracks of the 70s. Let's go back to his early days. Ozzy's wild persona and powerful voice made him a figurehead of the metal scene. Tracks like Paranoid and Iron Man solidified his place in rock history. But here's the incredible part. Even in his mid-70s, he's still rocking out. Talk about surviving the storm. Ozzy's never backed down. He's faced struggles that would have ended most careers. But here he is, still giving it his all, still bringing that raw energy to the stage. His voice might be a little rougher, but that spirit, that fire, is as strong as ever. Ozzy's legacy is set in stone, but he's not done yet. And speaking of never backing down, let's talk Jon Bon Jovi. Before John was building an empire, he was belting out anthems like Livin' on a Prayer and You Give Love a Bad Name in the 80s. Remember those 80s anthems? John's youthful energy and his band's catchy hooks made them stadium fillers around the world. His voice and charisma turned Bon Jovi into a rock juggernaut. Now, at 61, John's still rocking out like it's the 80s. He's aged like fine wine, and his music still resonates with fans of all ages. Plus, he's all about giving back, making him more than just a rock star. John's built an empire, but he's also built a legacy of kindness, of charity, of giving back to the community. He's proven that you can be a rock star and a role model, and that's a rare combination. But then there's Keith Richards, the ultimate survivor. Before becoming a symbol of rock and roll resilience, Keith Richards was creating some of the most unforgettable guitar riffs with the Rolling Stones. Let's not forget his earlier years. Richards' contributions to tracks like I Can't Get No Satisfaction and Gimme Shelter made him an icon. His playing defined the sound of an era. And now, late 70s and still jamming out? It's almost miraculous. But that's Keith for you. He's been through more ups and downs than most. But he's come out the other side stronger, more resilient, more iconic. His guitar riffs are still as sharp as ever, and his presence on stage is nothing short of legendary. Keith's not just a musician, he's a force of nature. We can't forget Rod Stewart. Before he was the seasoned performer of today, Rod Stewart was topping the charts in the 70s with his raspy voice and infectious energy. Maggie May, Do You Think I'm Sexy? Those songs are still bangers. And now, in his late 70s, Rod's still out there, touring, releasing music, proving that true talent never fades. He's still got that charm, that style, that swagger, and his voice, still as powerful as ever. Rod's not just coasting on past glories. He's still innovating, still evolving, still making music that resonates. The boss himself, Bruce Springsteen. Before becoming the voice of the American working class, Springsteen was already making waves in the 70s with tracks like Born to Run. Those early performances, Springsteen's raw energy and relatable lyrics made him a symbol of hope and resilience. He was the voice of a generation, and now, at 74, he's still putting in the work, still giving fans those epic live shows. It's like time hasn't touched him. His music still speaks to the struggles, the hopes, the dreams of everyday people. And his live performances? Still legendary. Springsteen's the epitome of what it means to be a rock star. He's stayed true to his roots, to his message, to his fans. Now is Bono. Before he became a global activist, Bono was the charismatic frontman of U2, captivating audiences in the 1980s. Did you know that Bono has been a force in rock music since the 1980s? Back then, his powerful voice and passionate performances turned songs like With or Without You and Sunday Bloody Sunday into timeless anthems. But now, at 63, Bono is still making waves, not just in music, but as a global activist. He's aged, sure, but his energy and commitment to his causes are stronger than ever. Bono's ability to juggle his rock star persona with his humanitarian work makes him one of the most respected figures in the industry. He's not just about the music, though. He's also heavily involved in global activism, tackling issues like poverty, AIDS, and human rights. But don't think for a second that he's left the music behind. U2 is still going strong, with Bono at the helm, pushing the band to explore new sounds and reach new heights. It's incredible to think about how Bono has balanced it all. And speaking of balance, let's talk about Robert Plant. Before he was an introspective musical explorer, Robert Plant was the wild-haired frontman of Led Zeppelin, defining the sound of the 70s. The voice of Led Zeppelin, Plant's voice and stage presence in the 70s made him a rock god. Remember Stairway to Heaven? Whole Lotta Love? Those tracks still give you chills. But now, in his mid-70s, Plant's taken his music in a new direction. He's more introspective, exploring different genres, and proving that evolution is key. His voice may have mellowed with age, but his passion for music is as fierce as ever. Plant's path from rock icon to musical explorer is nothing short of remarkable. And while he's no longer the wild-haired frontman of Zeppelin, he's embraced his evolution with grace and authenticity. And that's the thing about Plant. He's never been afraid to take risks, to step outside his comfort zone, to challenge himself and his fans. And when you think of fierce voices, you have to mention Eddie Vedder. Before he became the seasoned musician of today, Vedder was the voice of a generation in the 90s, defining the grunge movement with Pearl Jam. The man who defined the grunge movement with Pearl Jam, Vedder's deep, resonant voice gave life to songs like Alive and Jeremy. Those tracks spoke to an entire generation. And now, in his late 50s, Vedder has evolved from a grunge icon to a seasoned musician. He's still innovating, still pushing boundaries, and still influencing the rock scene. And he's not just sticking to what's safe or familiar. He's constantly exploring new sounds, whether it's in his solo work or with Pearl Jam. Vedder's lyrics have always been deeply personal, often reflecting his views on society, politics, and the human condition. And even after all these years, he's still got that raw intensity that made him a standout in the 90s. Vedder's path is a testament to his dedication to music. But let's shift gears to a true trailblazer, Debbie Harry. Before she was an enduring style icon, Debbie Harry was the face of Blondie, a symbol of female empowerment in the late 70s. With her platinum blonde hair and striking looks, Harry was a symbol of female empowerment in the late 70s. Songs like Heart of Glass and Call Me cemented her place in rock history. And now, in her late 70s, Harry's still rocking, still a style icon, and still influencing pop culture. Her ability to evolve while staying true to her edgy persona is nothing short of amazing. Harry's influence goes beyond music. She's been a fashion icon, a muse, and a trailblazer for women in the industry. In a world dominated by male rock stars, Harry carved out a space where she could be unapologetically herself. And even today, she's still pushing boundaries, still taking risks, still leading the charge for women in music. Her stage presence remains electrifying, and her voice is distinctive as ever. And then there's Sting. Before he was exploring jazz and world music, Sting was bringing sophistication to rock with the Police. The man who brought sophistication to rock with the Police. Remember Roxanne? Every Breath You Take. Those tracks are still classics. But Sting didn't stop there. He went solo, exploring new musical styles and making a name for himself beyond the Police. Now in his early 70s, Sting is still touring, still recording, and still looking as fit as ever. His commitment to health and wellness is inspiring. But Sting's evolution isn't just about fitness. It's about his music too. He's delved into jazz, classical, and world music, showing an incredible range and depth as an artist. Sting's lyrics have always been thoughtful, introspective, and socially conscious. And even now, he's still writing songs that resonate on a deep level. Sting's longevity in the industry is a testament to his talent and adaptability. These rock icons prove that age is just a number. That time can't diminish true artistry. And now, is Axl Rose? The iconic frontman of Guns N' Roses, Axl exploded onto the scene in the late 1980s with his electrifying performances and unmistakable voice. Remember Sweet Child O' Mine? Welcome to the Jungle? Those tracks defined a generation, and Axl was the ultimate symbol of rock's rebellious spirit. His wild stage antics, unpredictable behavior, and raw vocal power made him a rock god. But, as the years went by, the rock and roll lifestyle took its toll. From the craziest start that changed Hollywood to the best celebrities who left an unforgettable legacy. These were famous rock star celebrities, then vs now.